Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Home Warranty of America Hangout. I'm Scott Hollingsworth, and today we're joined by Bubba Mills from Corcoran Consulting and Coaching, and he's going to go over some information with everybody. And also we have the host, Scott, from Home Warranty of America here today. Molly's out of town, so she wasn't able to join us, so Scott's hanging out with us today. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell everybody what we're going to be covering on the Hangout and introduce them to Bubba.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me on today. Thank you, Bubba, too. I am the National Account Manager for HWA. I work with our national alliances out there, one being, of course, Corcoran Consulting and Coaching. Very proud to be and honored to be part of that humongous team. We're going to cover today the vendor relationships. We're going to discuss the MSA and what it means and what it is. Basically go over how that partnership is important to the business in the real estate world.
Great. And Bubba, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know, how long you've been in the industry, what you're doing now, and talk about, why this topic means what it means to you.
So I'm not going to go way back because we only got an hour to do this, and I want to take a lot of life. I've been in the real estate, mortgage, and servicing world since 1980. I've been in 1988 actually. Between owning mortgage companies, real estate companies, service agreements. I owned a collection agency. I owned an identity theft protection company. I'm like that serial entrepreneur. I've been teaching my entire life, man. And I merged my company in with Corcoran about 6 years ago. I am now the CEO of Corcoran Consulting and Coaching. And it's interesting because we're going to be talking about MSAs today. And MSAs they're an interesting animal. There's different types for MSAs, different industries for MSAs, and different ways they're written with different outcomes. So we'll talk on a global level what it looks like, and then we'll narrow our way down into a more specific level, just so everybody knows. Our company is a little bit different than most of the companies out there. We only coach teams, franchises, and independent brokerages. So our average client does about 147 transactions a year, between 60 and a $2.8 million average. So we've got a client that does 978 with an $84,000 average. So it's all over the place, man. So MSAs are very protected, and I think Scott and you guys can agree with this, that the biggest challenge with MSAs is doing it right. You guys agree with that?
Yes.
Definitely. Yes, sir.
And I did a tip of the week a little bit ago. If you guys don't mind, I'm just going to jump into this thing. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, go right ahead. And
All
while
right,
you're
sir.
going into that, I'm sorry, Bubba, while you're going into that, I was just going to tell everybody that is viewing that this is a live interactive hangout. So if you have questions, there is a Q&A app. Feel free to enter them there, and we will make sure that they get answered live on air.
Please. I love live questions. I love them. Throw them out there, man. I mean, seriously, between the three of us, you'll get live coaching. So, more power to you. Ask them all. So, I'm going to start with the MSAs as a global industry standard, because when I opened up my first mortgage company back in 1991, there wasn't really an MSA kind of. There was RESPA. Everybody knows RESPA. Those people. They're amazing. People on kickbacks and steering and Section 8, Section 9, and we all found ways to be able to do things. And I'd have an agent come up to me and say, Bubba, if you want to get into my network, you got to pay me $5,000, and there's a cubicle right over there, and I might let you talk to him. That's how it started way back in the day, before CFPB was ever even really created, before Dodd-Frank, before everything else. So, and that's why we're in the dilemma that we're in now, because seriously, people were taking money for nothing. Hey, you want to talk to my agents? $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. There was nothing in return. It was like buying business, which, as you know, is Section 9 of RESPA steering. And that's the biggest challenge that we had. You know why rules and regulations are different today than they were 20 years ago, gentlemen? You guys know, right?
Well, fill us in.
Because people are greedy. They're greedy. That's why. They turned it into, hey, we can do business together, into, holy crap, this is an income producer. And that's what it came down to, man. You know, they're like, hey, you know, I can do business in multiple streams by selling real estate, by getting MSAs. So that life has changed now. And I apologize. I'm not going to look at the camera just 1 minute, because I want to read this to you. I've been blessed in my life to be able to have consulting and coaching agreements. I did a lot of work with the GSEs, Fannie, Freddie, U.S. Treasury, USDA, all that kind of fun stuff. Because I was like an REO guru. I spoke internationally in regards to REOs and how to be able to liquidate them properly. And I did contracts with Wells and Chase and Fannie and Freddie, where I could get on stage and I could tell you how life is. Where Fannie is like, well, you know, I have to defer. Well, screw deferring. Bubba will tell you the truth. That's just it. You know what I mean? I'm that guy that will just lay it out there. So I had a great conversation with an individual who used to be with the U.S. Treasury, who's now a senior executive with CFPB, about this exact same conversation. So this email is about this long, and no, I'm not going to do a screen share so you guys have their contact information. That's not happening. But I will. But I will, out of this entire email, I'm going to read one sentence, right? So I want everybody to listen, and I want you to write this down. There's one word of this entire sentence that is going to be the most profound word you've ever heard on MSAs. So it says, if the servicer pays a lead generation service and then shares that information with a realtor without expecting the realtor to pay their proportional share of the leads, this could be construed as a thing of value. Okay? You guys hear that sentence? One word. What's the word? Proportional. Proportional. Everybody write that word in. I'm going to put it in here. P-R-O-P-R-O-T-I-O-N-A-L. There it is, right there in the chat box. Proportional. So this is the interesting part that happens, right? CFPB was regulated between two people, two companies. It all stemmed around real estate, so we're going to talk about realtors and the other service party, which the big one, the 800-pound gorilla, is mortgage. And then you break it down from there into title or escrow, insurance, or home warranties, which is something we'll be talking about. So what happened is these two mega forces said, here, let me look back over here so it looks a little bit more professional now. Apologize for that. So these two are fighting each other, going, well, you know, hey, you know, I can give you leads and I'll refer everybody over to you, but I want you to pay half my Boomtown and my Commissions Inc. and my Tiger leads. And I'm, well, hell, I'll put your logo on this postcard for 10 grand. That's what happened, right? So what happens now is they say, no, proportionate amount. Now, I'm going to give you, since this is being recorded, going out to a lot of people, I'm going to give you my professional opinion on this. You can take this one to the bank, okay? Be careful what you do, because here's the challenge. You might have the cleanest MSA known to mankind with a mortgage company, but then that mortgage company has an MSA with this other person over here. That person's in violation. Those two people get audited. Guess what? You're getting audited too, because you're doing business with that company. So be very, very careful on who you're doing business with. You might have the cleanest one, but if they don't have the best culture, the best ethics, it's not worth your money. Quit. Stop. Ex-nay. None. No mas. Quit. All right? So, here's the challenge.
So, Bubba, real quick.
Yeah, talk to me, buddy.
Yes. So, real quick here, we just hit on that first bullet point of how you want to go out and find someone to set up an MSA with, right? So I want to hear your point of view for the agents. How do they go about finding the right MSAs? And then, Scott, I'll have you answer for the vendor side of it and how you choose working with agents, all right? So go ahead, Bubba, and then Scott, jump in when you're ready.
Craigslist. That's how we find agents. Why can't we find MSAs?
A dark alley at night.
Exactly. Hey, you gonna shake my hand, buddy? Let's do it. So you got to be very, very careful with who's willing to do what, because life's changing. So I remember this one statement I learned way back in my first business. Bubba, be careful, because desperate people do desperate things. Remember that phrase in business. Desperate people do desperate things. The ones that are pushing it the most, you know what? I'm sorry. Those are usually the people that aren't going to be above board. So here's my answer specifically to that question. People you have a relationship with that have a great standard of morals and ethics and value to the community. If not, don't do it. Don't let some mortgage company call you that you're in San Diego and they're calling you from Atlantic City saying, hey, Dad, I'll give you an MSA. Be leery. Okay? Be leery. It's not worth it. If they can't walk into your office and meet your team and you can see if you have a cultural fit, you've done business with them before. If you haven't done business with them, don't sign anything. You got to go through. You got to be engaged before you get married. Don't go just sliding a ring on somebody you just met at the bar last night, right? You got to be engaged. Go through the engagement process. That's
Yeah.
And how does it work the other way for you, Scott?
I would call it the courting process, but of course we work with every agent out there that we can protect, of course, the liability and manage their risk with their clients. And of course, Bubba's clients and Bob's clients are our clients. So we go through a vetting process. We will, I would say interview, but it would be an interview. We talk about what their objectives is in the business. How long have you been in this business? Where are you going with your business? Tell me a little bit about your infrastructure. Tell me about your buyers, agents you have on board, your sellers agents. And then let's talk about your marketing efforts, because if you want to make $1 million, you better spend $100,000, right? 10% is a good average in marketing. So I do the homework on the front end, and then when I interview them, I want to hear exactly what Bubba said. Tell me about what you're looking for here. If you're looking for a partnership to protect your clients with our warranty in place to manage their risk, then let's talk about a little further in depth how we do that by a MSA. And what Bubba elaborated earlier, our MSA, or the warranty MSA, is quite different than the ones that are out there. So through that process, and sometimes it's several calls, of course, and sometimes there will not be a marketing service agreement, but we'll still work, of course, with that client. If the variables fall in place, they have several different factors involved in their marketing. Do you have a website, or more than one website? There is value to that website. So we would be asking to be put on the website with a logo and a link, of course, to us. Any publications or newsletters you put out. Anything regarding listing packages and buys packages you have regarding our brochure, the tent cards, anything, again, of value that we can actually show to offset that cost for marketing, then we talk a little bit deeper about the marketing service agreement and how we can align that accordingly. And Bubba, you can elaborate about that regarding the importance of the vendor relationships on the warranty side of the world, how it does differentiate from the mortgage side, because it's a different beast altogether.
Oh, God, yeah. So, look, I want to give you a perfect example. I'm actually getting my financial insurance license. And it's interesting. So when you talk to financial advisors and insurance brokers and that kind of fun stuff, I'm doing this because I have so many policies. I'm tired of paying other people money, so I'll just make the money myself. That's just it. So if anybody wants an insurance policy, call me. I'm not licensed,
I like
but I'll
this
sign
plug.
you up, man. Okay, so
Nice plug.
this is,
Plug.
it's funny because I talked to Blue Cross Blue Shield probably 10 years ago. I said, how do you determine how you do this, right? And they said, look, we pay millions of dollars on marketing, right? So marketing has to have a return. Does everybody agree with that? Okay?
Yes.
At least, I want at least an 8 to 10 times. If you're my coaching client, you're not getting 8 to 10 times. I'll usually cut that out of your budget. We'll spend it somewhere else, number one. Number two, there's return on time investment, okay? So just because you can make a lot of money depends on how much time it takes. So all these things have to take into consideration in your business. What am I spending? How much time does it take? And how much money am I getting back? So what they said was, hey, if I got a broker selling my business, how much money did I have to spend? Zero. It's 100% return on their money. That's why insurance brokers get paid premiums for selling insurance, for selling stocks, for selling whatever. It's because there's zero marketing from the end user. So we relate that into Home Warranties of America. They spend millions of dollars in marketing. And look, I'll tell you right now, so everybody understands, okay, right now, I'm going to say this publicly. I take zero kickback from anybody. Scott, how much money have you ever paid me in the last 10 years that we've had a relationship together? Both Scotts. You guys both tell me.
Be zero, sir.
Zero. How about you, Scott? Viral? How much? You cut out. Why can't I hear you? Okay, he's frozen. So anyways, the answer is zero. You can ask anybody out there. Anybody out there. The answer is zero. I take nothing. There you go. You're right, buddy.
There he goes.
Don't know what happened there.
Right?
You broke it, Bubba.
I'm telling you, man, it was too much energy. I apologize. So here's the interesting part, okay? And the reason why I take zero is because I make more money and doing more business with ethical businesses that give a value to my client. Home Warranties of America, out of all of the home warranty companies out there, has the best standard, the best service. You know what? Who cares about price? I don't care about price. I'll sell you a 12% loan all day long in a mortgage. If you get the best benefit, the best service, and the best quality, screw price. Okay? They have a great price, don't get me wrong. They're on all of my rental properties in my personal home. So they don't pay me to say that. I'm not on here to say that. I'm on here because they're a partner of mine and they're ethical. The same reason why Scott's on here from Viral. They're a partner of mine. They're ethical. I respect them and I stand behind them. So I take nothing in return for doing this, just so everybody's on the same page. So, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because Scott has been to probably 10 or 15 of our boot camps over the years. Scott, how many have you been to?
About 10, yeah.
Okay,
yep.
So interesting enough, he comes to our events. Look, everybody, you out there, if you're a real estate agent, I have a boot camp for you. It's a buyer mastery, a listing mastery, or a year-end sales. I mean, excuse me, a year-end leadership. I'm not selling it. I'm just telling you. So he's been to all of them. He comes to me and says, Bubba, I have an amazing idea. I want to do an MSA. And instead of just MSAing for people to go, oh, here's some more pay-per-click, you know, here's some more postcards. I want to do an MSA where I can offset fees for coaching. I think that's the highest value I can give them, is having somebody like me coach his clients to increase their production, to have better systems, better hiring practices, better retention. Okay? So again, as I told you guys, right, I've already courted them. We're married, by the way, we're married. He put a ring on it. But again, we had to test it before we even went to the market with it. So for the last year, we've had 2 or 3 clients going in, testing it, making it better, testing it, making it better. And that's why we're here to say, look, it's a model that's amazing. Now, it's different than the model with a mortgage company. So, Scott, if you want to give that a little bit more detail, I would appreciate it.
Me, Scott, or Scott?
Oh, Scott, you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear
so
me
again, yeah. So you're referring to the marketing efforts on the client end, sir, correct?
Yep.
For HWA.
Yep.
So again, we have to go over several factors that, again, it's not about a referral. Of course, we don't ask referrals. There's no kickbacks. There's nothing regarding any remunerations. It's the client can still use whomever they want to. But if I develop a partnership based on a value proposition, yes, we're managing your risk, errors and omissions, and yes, we are managing that client's risk as well, that homeowner's risk. But if I can add another value proposition to the game and say, you know what, how can you help us market and advertise for us in a deeper sense to your clients? So I mentioned earlier the website, and some of them have more than one. A vendor page, of course. Any materials that they put out there, any special events they do. They allow us to come into their office to educate They're buyers and sellers agents. Again, as we talked about with Bubba, they come to his camp to learning systems and procedures. They learn about how to protect their clients on both sides of the transaction, when they're selling that home or buying that home. So anything regarding the value of marketing advertising within that business, we want to offset and reduce that cost. And there is value to each one of those things I mentioned. Newsletters, websites, whether in your office set up on a display stand. So, and I think, Bubba, that's what you're referring to regarding the difference of the marketing and advertising side of what a warranty company is asking.
Correct, correct. And here's the interesting part. You notice what he said? I just want a relationship. It's not about, I don't want to use a bad word, prostitution of home warranties. Okay, it's not about that. What it's about is about a relationship. I only do business with people I have a relationship with. Look, Viral Marketing has been a great partner. They have an amazing product, and you don't know how many hundreds of my clients that actually benefit from it. Home Warranties of America, the exact same ways. The values that we have in business is the reason why I'm here. If it wasn't for companies like this, I wouldn't be in this industry. I wouldn't have been through this industry for 20 plus years if it wasn't for establishing relationships. And you know what? I do things for them. You know what? Sometimes they can't reciprocate. They do things for me, and sometimes I can't reciprocate. Who cares? It's having the opportunity for a relationship. So when it comes to an MSA, it's not always about the dollar. It's about the value. When you can go, okay, one, it's a 13-month instead of 12. I love that. Two, I've got great service. Look, and I have crap broken in every one of the houses that I own. I use them. That's why I have it. I use them. And you know what? I get great service. I get great service. And it's amazing because I was with another home warranty company that has different initials that's not on this, that I didn't like their service. I didn't like their service. So, you know what? I found somebody else. That's just it. It doesn't matter. So the value, perception of value is on several ways. And I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. Okay, everybody's got pen and paper, right? Okay. Hey, you know what? This live chat thing, this thing needs to get fired up here. I'm going to give you a coaching lesson, right? Write this down. You ready? There's 3 things that people want. There's 3 things that we do in real estate. Okay? There's value, service, and quality. Right? Let's read down. Value, service, and quality. I'll wait. Give you guys another minute. Oh, beautiful weather out there. Amazing. All right, here we go. So, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever been asked, will you reduce your commission? Hey, that guy over there, he'll do it for 2.5%. Remember those guys? Right? Happens to every one of us. Scott, how many times have you been asked to lower your costs? Both of you guys. Me. Hey, Bubba, can you do it cheaper? No, I can't. You know what I mean? Because here's my answer, right? I'm not a limited service provider. Ooh, that one hurt, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Everybody says discount broker. Ah, crap, who cares? People are proud of that. However, what I say is you're a limited service provider. You know what that means? That means if I have to give up price, that means I have to lower my quality or service. Which one are you willing to give up? Because at the end of the day, if I have to lower one of those 2, I'm sorry, I'm not the right person for you. You can go find somebody else to do cheaper. Here's an example. Anybody shop at Walmart? Raise your hand. Of course you do, right? Go to Walmart. It's the best price, right? Do you get good quality or service from them? God, no. They got their own Facebook page, and it's not pleasant pictures, right? Now you go to Nordstrom's. Is it the best price? No. Is it the best quality and service? Hell yeah. You get what you pay for. At the end of the day, you get what you pay for. And that's why Home Warranties of America built this, is because you get what you paid for. That's just it. It's not always going to be the cheapest. Who cares? Because what happens is, you go to another home warranty, look, I'm not selling you, Scott. It frustrates the crap out of me when people say, well, these guys are cheaper. Screw it. I'm the most expensive coaching company in the U.S. right now. Look me up, CorcoranCoaching.com. I am not the cheapest, but I guarantee you, my clients are in the top 3% of real estate. They get what you pay for. I'm not for everybody. That's just it. You know what? Viral's not the cheapest. You can go do it yourself on Skype if you want to, but you get what you pay for. That's just it, guys. So here's the interesting part about it, right? I got what I paid for because I abused the crap out of my home warranty. And every time I sell somebody a house, right, this is it. I make the seller pay for it, of course, as part of my condition when I'm doing it. Because if I'm representing a buyer, what happens 6 months down the road when the garage door's broken? When a hot water heater blows out? Guess whose reputation's on the line? You got that right. It's mine. And if I didn't protect you by getting a home warranty, where you can say, hey, don't forget you have a home warranty. Oh, crap, I forgot about that. Yeah, use it. That's why we got it. That's why the seller paid for it for you. Remember? That was a benefit of doing business with Bubba. That was it. Okay? Use it.
So
that is what saves relationships.
We've got about 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, sorry, Bubba. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left here, guys. Scott, I want to bring you back in real quick and have you. I know that you talked about like all the different places that you want to be visible and how you want to be in the agent's marketing that you're working with. Talk to us about some of the mistakes that can be made that may take it to where it's out of proportion, and then you have the chance of you take on that risk, right? So,
certainly. And that's the word of the call is proportionate. So, if there's not a website, if there's a virtual office where we can't display product, if I hear clients say, Scott, how much are you going to pay me? And those words, when they first come out of their mouth, I said, I probably think this relationship is not going to work for us, because again, it's not based upon me throwing a dollar bill at you. It's based upon you marketing for our service, marketing our brand, of course. But there's certain words you hear right away, and Bubba said it earlier, and I always tell people, 20 years in business, and especially in this business, when we don't add value to your business anymore, you should use somebody else, because that's what we are all about. So there's certain key things I hear, and people think, again, just put some dollars in your pocket, but that's not what, number one, legally we're going to do. Number two, culturally we want to do. We want to service your business, lift them up to a point where they can better who they are in this business. And again, Bubba talked about the camps and whatnot. So if we can add value where we can offset that marketing cost to them going to a camp and learning the processes and systems to better educate who they are and put things in a place where they can double their business in year 2 or 3, that's a win-win-win all the way around. But again, it goes back to, are they having avenues set up within their infrastructure that we can market in? If they don't have any, there won't be a marketing service agreement, of course, because again, it's advertising and marketing for us. However, we still can do business together. It would not be under a marketing service agreement. We can still take care of your clients.
Right. All right, guys. Well, we're about out of time. Just want to thank both of you for getting on and sharing all of this information. Bubba, why don't we start with you? If anybody has a question for you after the Hangout or they want to get a hold of you, how's the best way for them to reach out to you?
1-800-957-8353.
Great.
Second.
And Scott, how can...
So there it is. Or you can go to my website, which is at the bottom right
there. It is.
There, right there. I feel like Vanna White.
turn the letter. Turn the letter, right? Please. You have a B.
And Scott, how can people... go ahead.
They can call me direct, sir, at 615-766-7305. Or email me, of course, at scott.outcalt, OUTCALT, at HWAHomeWarranty.com. And don't forget the 2 R's in warranty. It's forgotten a lot.
Is that how it's spelled?
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks
we should do these monthly, guys. These are fun.
Yeah, we're going to. So everybody that joined us this month, thank you so much. And we'll be having another Home Warranty of America Hangout next month. Be sure to join us on that when we have a new guest and go over some more helpful information. Take care.
Have an awesome day.
Thanks, Scott.